second West Coast Conference men's basketball quarterfinal game in overtime, 4th seed San Francisco Dons defeat number 5 seed Pacific Tigers 71-70. With the victory, the Dons are off to the semifinals. They'll face the winner of tonight's game between Gonzaga and Loyola Marymount. And Monday night's games will be determined in terms of game time after tonight's quarterfinals conclude. It'll either be at 6 or 8:30 Monday night. We're joined by USF head coach Kyle Smith, along with student athletes Frankie Ferrari and Jordan Rotino. Coach Smith, we'd like to begin with you. An opening statement on the win, please.
Ooh, that was a tough one. I mean, we expected that. Pacific has been gritty all year. We beat them twice. I'm very fortunate and thought we played really well. Two of our best games of the year playing against those guys. And they jumped us pretty good first half, and we were scrappy enough to kind of find a way, and they kept coming back and battled and got some really good efforts on their part, and really a lot of respect for Coach Stoudemire and what he's done. But just a great win for our program.
Thanks, Coach. We'll take questions from media members. I'd like to start with student athletes first, please, and let us know your name and affiliation. Rusty.
Rusty Simmons from the San Francisco Chronicle. Frankie, Jordan. I don't think either team led by more than 6. What is it about you guys that allows you to win a ball game like that?
Well, I think it's hard to beat any team 3 times, and the first 2 were also gritty games where they made late runs, and I think we kind of flipped the page and we made a late run at them. And you know, anytime in March, no game is easy and no win is easy. So I'm glad we got it done, and it was a tough one.
Yeah, like you said, every game in March is going to be a tough one. We knew that going in. We started out a little slow defensively, gave them a lot of baskets that we shouldn't have given them. But I think second half we just came out more gritty and got the job done at the end, so it was a good one.
Other questions for San Francisco student athletes from media members? We'll go to John.
Yeah, to John Crumpacker, West Coast Conference Sports. Jordan, what did your zone defense enable you to do? You went to it quite a bit. How was that effective for you?
I think just to change up our defense, give them a different look on the defensive end. They were a drive to the basket first team, I think. A lot of guys could take it to the rim, so I think that kind of limited that for them offensively, and just gave them a different look.
Other questions for student athletes or for Coach Smith? Rusty?
Frankie, when you hit the jumper at the end of regulation, what were you thinking there? Did you think that was the game winner?
No, you never tend to think it's over until it's over. We've had a couple tough ends of the stick at LMU and at BYU this year. So in this situation, in this part of the season, it's never over. I was just thinking, how can we get another stop? So
We'll come across the room to Jim in just a moment. On our far left.
For the guards, can you talk about what the first 2 games with Gonzaga were like, what you learned, and maybe what you'll work on coming to the third one if you do face them?
Yeah, I mean, we played them pretty well when we played them, so I think we just got to come out. We know what they're going to do. We just have to focus on us and executing on offense, on defense, and stay on the scout and play our hearts out, because that's what it's going to come down to.
I think it'll be a good atmosphere Monday night. It always is in the semifinals here, and we played them tough the first 2 games, and it's a good opportunity. And at this point of the season, you know, it's
we might be playing Loyola.
That's right.
Relax.
It's win or go home at this point of the season.
Relax.
So.
I'll come back to Rusty.
Coach, I'm sure in a perfect world you have a blowout today and get to rest guys and everything else, but what does a game like this do for you as you try to make a run?
I think it gives us confidence. I mean, like I said, we've been talking about playing. We didn't feel like we finished the year last year as well. I think we were 2-4 down the stretch in the league, and then we lost a tough one to Santa Clara, and we were definitely a little more poised and this year, and just, you know, it's part of your program, trying to advance and be able to play in the semis. It's a big opportunity. It's a good exposure for our program, for our league, and you know, we got a really nice hotel that Scott put us in, and that was our motivation to try to stay till Monday in the Aria. And then it was threatened at halftime we'd never stay there again if we didn't play better. So that was part of it. I was excited.
Let's go back to Jim on our far left.
Kyle, it seems like you have a lot of trust in these 2 guys and how you rely on them to run everything, right?
I mean, they're part of our blueprint. When we talked about our program, we got a lot of. I mean, got really good kids in the program. Really, I get emotional when I talk about them. But these guys, being Bay Area guys, weren't bringing back the pride of USF, and they play their hearts out, and I could be more proud.
Back to Rusty over here. No, you can wait.
For Frankie and Jordan, I saw you guys go over and applaud your crowd at the end there with Bill Cartwright standing in the middle. Is that a normal thing for you guys to applaud them, or did they do something special for you to pull out a game like this today?
Well, I think it's just, them giving up their time, flying all the way out here to support us. It means a lot, and we just want to show some gratitude towards them. And Bill's always around, or Mr. Cartwright's always around.
Coach Cartwright is a special assistant.
Coach Cartwright is always around the gym and almost at every practice. And, he's a good mentor for us and a great guy to look up to, obviously, with his history and pedigree. So.
Yeah, it was just us appreciating them coming out and supporting us. A lot of them come to a lot of games, and we needed that atmosphere for us down the stretch, so it was good for us.
John?
Yes, to Kyle, you've been known for playing a lot of guys this season. What is the characteristics of your roster that you can, depending on circumstances, play a variety of guys, or some and not others? And is that flexible for you?
It is, and we're pretty heavy on the analytics, to be honest, like certain matchups and certain combinations that may be more successful against certain teams. So that's some of it, but also we've kind of shortened it up down the stretch. I think most teams have, as far as, and it's really been guys been in the program for a year, now their second year, and I think somewhere in there, I think it was actually after the St. Mary's game on the road. We didn't play real well that night, but something clicked, and I couldn't put my finger on it. But your team can go a lot and get beat 36 on the road. Your team can go a lot of different ways, and these guys are really resilient and just came to work and kept practicing. We talked about being good in March, and they're 6-2 going in, or 5-2 going today, 6-2, and with a couple, like I said, good coach on the sidelines might be 7-1, 8-0. It's very possible, but that's a testament that they're. You don't know as a coach. Everyone coach can tell you they do. You don't know. You don't know which way your team's going to go, and this team rallied up. And that's what. In this time of year, it's really your players' their investment and what you're selling. That they got to want to do what they want to. And I tell you, that Pacific team wanted bad tonight too. So that'll make us better.
Final question, Jim.
Kyle, if the seeding holds and Gonzaga wins tonight, what are you in for Monday night? And what do you take from the first two games?
You're in for the transition D. You better get back on those guys and get on the glass. And they're just going to try to play bully ball a little bit, and you got to be tough. And then there's a whole other, you do that part, then there's a whole other tier you got to get to. But if you don't the initial part, you can. It can be tough, so we'll be all right. I think we weathered the storm. They jumped us pretty good up at their place, and our guys kept coming. We played pretty well, but we'll see who it is.
San Francisco, congrats on the win. We'll see you Monday.
Thank you.
Joining us now from University of the Pacific is head coach Damon Stoudemire and student athlete Miles Reynolds. Coach, we'd like to begin with you, please, an opening statement on the game tonight.
It was a good game. It was I thought both teams played well. Obviously, a lot of big shots in the game. San Francisco, they got the last big one though. But it was a hard fought game, and like I said, our team played well. We played as well as we could, and I'm proud of my guys.
Thanks, Coach. Questions from media members? I'd like to start with questions for Miles Reynolds first, please.
Yeah, Miles, looking at the season, kind of big picture, how much today did we see of the growth of your team this year, and how much you guys have matured playing close games and getting better?
Yeah, the growth from last year to this year was night and day. We didn't have a lot of the same guys from last year, but to be able to double our conference win total, to get up in the top half of the conference, and honestly should have even bumped up a few more if we would have finished the regular season on a better note. It's just a testament to our hard work. We worked really hard this season. We brought in the coach, phenomenal coach. Even though he's just in his second year, it's crazy how much he knows from the game, about the game. So, our growth has been good. Obviously not good enough, but next year I think we'll be in pretty good shape to take over the league.
You look at how you played this year in terms of playing a lot of close games, in terms of getting better win-loss record. Do you see this as kind of, you have more to look forward to this summer getting ready for next year?
Yeah, definitely. We're all looking forward to getting back in the gym this spring and summer. The game didn't end how we wanted it to in overtime, but luckily for a good chunk of us, there's always next year except for Big Nam. So, I think we'll be ready to get going in a couple of weeks or whenever NCAA lets us.
Damon, how much have you seen this team grow and mature this year, and how much has it been a fun process to watch them grow up?
Yeah, it has. It's been fun. We've come a long ways. It's been about 2 to 3 seasons, from the start of the year, but I think when we got to conference play, felt like I started to see growth, but then I started to see result more than anything, because you can talk about, getting better, but if you're not winning games, then, it's nothing to go off of. And, we won some close games, and, I seen the team coming, I seen them growing. But, like Miles said, we got a little ways to go. I always say this, and I truly believe this, in sports, as the season goes on, you can't get better physically, but you can get better mentally. And I got to catch my team up mentally with the physical ability. And I think, if we get to that point, okay, I think that we'll keep going in the right direction. And that's the goal. We took steps. We definitely took steps. We competed, but for me, I take more than competing. Like I'm used to being up there with Coach Few, and I envy him. I envy him, and I tell my team all the time, and he'll tell you this. And people say, well, why you envy him? See, a lot of people like to see the team that always win lose. And you know what I say? I say, people don't know how hard it is to win, because if you ain't been there, you don't know. I've been there before, and I know how hard it is to win, because you take everybody's best shot. And it's a process for a team to grow, and our team is going through that process, because they won't say it, but I think that we beat San Diego and they took the foot off the pedal, because the teams that we play were underneath us, and that's maturity. Because in this league, any team can beat you any night. It's maturity. I know that. And like I tell them, I've been a coach. I've been a player way longer than I've been a coach. I'm still going on my playing experience, so I see things happening before they happen.
Any other questions for Pacific? All right, guys, thank you very much.
I appreciate it.